Hi, everyone. I know I've been posting a lot of extra videos lately, but the messages have just really been flowing. So if the title and the thumbnail of this video drew you in, then there is most likely some kind of message here for you. And I say that because I'm really going to try to be as descriptive as possible in the thumbnail image, especially, so that hopefully this video will really reach those of you that need to hear it at this time. I've considered putting the term twin flame in either the description box or the thumbnail or the title, but I may or may not include it because I feel that this message isn't exclusive to people experiencing a twin flame connection. However, there will be many who do resonate with the idea of twin flames who will find this video and who will be connecting with it in that way. So I just wanted to kind of note that here at the beginning. But the core message coming through here is that for this specific collective, you are scared that someone won't come with you into some new version of you. And that is kind of the starting point of this message. So if you've been feeling some fear around whether or not someone can come with you into a new version of you that you can feel yourself being pulled into, I get the sense that you're just beginning to take the baby steps into this version of you. And I was kind of laughing as I said that because baby steps came out in the last reading as well. I know that there's a song called Baby Steps that I heard the other day, but I'm not really sure of all the lyrics. Maybe I will actually pull up the lyrics to this song because I feel like there might be a message here in the lyrics. And also just in general, I've been saying that a message coming through has been that many of you are receiving a lot of signs or synchronicities through music or through lyrics. So, okay, let's read some of these lyrics because I'm getting some goosebumps here, which is usually my sign of spiritual confirmation. And I'm really feeling like these lyrics hold some kind of message for us. So the song is by Olivia Dean, and here are some of the lyrics. It's funny in the rear view, you're closer than you are. In truth, we're worlds apart. I'm used to being near you when I'm down to 10%, and you'd plug me straight back in. Now there's no one to text when the plane lands or to call when it's taking off. Right, left, baby steps. I'll be my own pair of safe hands. It's not the end. It's the making of right, left for now. And then it kind of refrains baby steps. It's learning how to balance. If I'm out on Friday night, it'll be me turning off them lights when I come home, but I'll manage. There'll be roses on the shelf, 'cause this house gonna love itself. I'm taking baby steps 1 foot at a time. Wow, okay, so the most powerful message that I get from those lyrics, first of all, is that someone here is on a journey of self-love, and maybe there's something specific about roses or buying yourself flowers. I'm literally seeing red roses in my mind's eye, so that could be significant for someone. And so whatever this next iteration of you is that you're stepping into, the thing about this version of you is that it seems to be a natural progression of your journey of self-love. And also this journey where you've been following your intuition one step at a time without really having the whole map, because I got the third eye chakra here, which is connected with your intuition, of course. So what I'm picking up is that you've been following this pathway of your intuition, and it's been leading you into deepening levels of self-love. But there is one connection that you fear won't be able to go with you into the version of you that you're becoming. I'm hearing you're already doing it. So I don't know, this feels like a side message for someone, but for someone listening, it's almost like there's a part of you saying, should I do this? Should I not do this? Like, should I move forward? Can I do this? Can I sustain this? And it's as though the answer back from your spirit guides, your higher self, whatever divine forces you connect with personally, the answer back is, you're already doing it. You've been doing it. Like, I'm hearing on some level, it might almost feel like you've had to trick yourself into loving yourself more and more, into following your intuition one step at a time. And when I say you've had to trick yourself, I don't mean it like in some malicious way or deceitful way. What I mean is, it's almost like if you knew the bigness of the vision for your life, if you knew how grand your destiny was going to be, I think it would almost scare you a little bit. Not in a bad way, but you would think like, can I really do that? Can I really sustain that? And I'm hearing that as I said those words, it triggered something within you. And there was a specific vision that most likely came to your mind, or something that you thought of yourself doing. And my words were meant to trigger that vision or that like version of yourself. And I'm hearing yes, that, or yes, like even that, like whatever you were thinking of, if something came to you in the moment that I was saying that, that is part of your destiny and it's part of who you're becoming and what you're stepping into. But it would almost be too overwhelming to your system to know all of that in advance in a concrete way, to know exactly how many things you're going to achieve or accomplish, or just how big this vision is going to be, or how many people you're going to impact, or like your voice, your art, your creations are going to reach. And so it's almost like your intuition is guiding you one step at a time, but intentionally withholding the entire map, because the whole map would overwhelm you if you knew. It's almost like even if you knew how good things were going to get for you, it would overwhelm you a little bit. If you knew how amazing your life was going to be, which for many of you, it may already be starting to feel really good or feel really amazing, but I'm hearing this is only the beginning for you. You truly are only getting started. But what I'm getting is somehow this pathway that you've been walking on one step at a time has felt as though it's leading you away from a particular connection or a person that you used to connect with in a certain way. And there's this part of you, and it may even be kind of your inner child in a way, like maybe there was some bond that you had with this person that, I don't know, somehow connected with inner child wounds or attachment wounds, or I don't know, like it seemed to be in a way very chaotic and maybe even toxic at times, but it also connected with like this core part of you and was very healing to your inner child at the same time. I know that sounds like a contradiction, but this connection itself was, I'm hearing, very paradoxical in many ways. Like things didn't quite make sense together. On the one hand, you would feel so much love for each other. And then on the other hand, I feel that you also could go through a lot of very challenging times together, and things could be very difficult at times. But there was also this like depth of connectedness with that person through all of it. However, I feel that this journey of self-love has been leading you away from one particular form of that person. And I want to say almost like their lower self, because if you think of everyone as having a kind of lower self and a higher self, or like a physical human self and then a soul version of them, which by the way, for you, I feel like you're bringing those two things more in line. Because when I talk about your lower self, your 3D version of yourself, it's not that that version of you has to be lower energetically in a sense. It's that it is the version of you that descended onto this earth plane and incarnated here and is in this dense physical human form. And because of a lot of the programming and the systems running on this dense physical planet, the majority of people in their lower self form are also living in a lot of density internally and are living disconnected from their higher version of self. But I feel that this pathway has been leading you into a profound connectedness with the higher version of you that is showing up physically. So it's almost like you're bringing your physical human self in line with your higher self, with your soul. And so I almost see it like a template. Like it's sort of like if you're tracing over something, you have the template that you're using and then you're tracing over it. For you, those things are coming together. They're coming in line into one coherent version of yourself that is you as soul, but also physically embodied at the same time. And you've been really working to bring these two parts of you into alignment. And I feel like they're really lining up now in a way that is allowing you to really blast off into some kind of massive purpose, or like something that you're doing or creating, or a part of yourself that you're sharing or showing with the world. And you can feel this happening. You feel the bigness of it. You feel that it's going to change your life, and that it's going to change all of the relationships in your life. And it's almost like you really committing to this version of yourself now that you've been preparing for so long means that people are going to have to choose whether or not they're able to come with you. And so you have this awareness of that. You know that your energy is getting too big and too loud to be ignored anymore. You know that people who may have been staying connected with you, but not letting themselves see you in that full loudness, in that full power, you know that those people are going to get triggered. Like if they've not been seeing you in that way, they can't ignore it anymore. It's going to be out on the surface in the open more than ever before. And they're going to have to decide whether they're going to accept and embrace and come with you in that journey, or whether it's so triggering they have to disconnect from you, at least temporarily, or pull back. And I feel that you've had to get to this place of inner strength and confidence with yourself to the point where you are okay with however people react to you showing up in this version of you. But there's this one person or this one connection that runs really deep for you. And I feel that there is this knowingness you've had that as you've been taking these steps closer to yourself, on the one hand, it's like their soul, their higher self has been cheering you on, has been excited for you and like wanting you to walk that pathway, but they're conflicted in their physical human form because they're still carrying around a lot of wounding. And I feel that a part of them in their human form is afraid of you outgrowing them. And maybe even for you, sometimes you're afraid of outgrowing them or outgrowing that connection. But I'm hearing you're outgrowing that version of them. You're outgrowing that version of that connection. But that doesn't mean that you are outgrowing the connection entirely, or that it can't exist in a different form. And I actually feel that, and what I wrote down is, well, I'm just going to read what I wrote down verbatim when I was feeling into this energy earlier. What I wrote is, you're scared they won't come with you, but their higher self is waiting on the other side of your leap. So it feels as though there is this higher version of them and a higher version of the connection between the two of you that you are only able to tap into as you take some kind of leap. And I'm hearing it's some sort of leap of self-love. It's you, I'm hearing finally doing something for yourself, because I feel that for the collective I'm speaking to here, yes, you've been slowly learning how to love yourself and how to show up for yourself. But I feel that on some level, you've still been holding back a little bit, almost like there have been certain parts of you that you haven't completely committed to or invested in, or I'm getting for some of you, this is like a childhood dream or something that is revisiting you, is coming back around again, like a destiny, which is because it is a destiny. It's your destiny. And it's coming back around again and asking you to do something for yourself. And for you, this might feel a little bit uncomfortable because you've gotten really accustomed to kind of walking a line where you were on this journey of self-love, but never to the point where it might trigger someone or make someone uncomfortable or create a rift or a disconnect between you and someone that you care about. But now this version of you is asking for more dedication and commitment and devotion than ever before. And again, you've been training for this. I feel like you've become so strong within yourself. You are ready for this. You are ready to really commit 100% to this version of you and to this leap of self-love. But there is this little bit of fear, like, will this person be able to come with me into this new version of me or my life? Or will it be so triggering for them that they will disconnect from me entirely? And I feel that you have to choose yourself regardless of that fear. But ironically, their higher self is waiting on the other side of that leap. So it's almost like when you commit to this version of yourself, you actually are committing to a timeline that is sifting and sorting all of the connections, the friendships, the relationships in your life in the best way. It's preserving you for the highest quality forms of connection and experience. Yes, it may be triggering certain people at times because they're being kind of forced to look at you in your full power, to see you completely for the first time. And for many of them, it does feel to them almost like they've never quite seen you in this light before. You may notice that family members, friends, people that you've known for a really long time will almost maybe even say to you, or they'll feel like they are looking at you or seeing you for the very first time because they've never really been forced to see you in your complete power in this way before. And again, that can elicit different reactions because they can either feel inspired to rise with you and to embrace you completely, or they can feel triggered because you really putting yourself out there in some way or revisiting your own destiny, committing to yourself in this way is going to be triggering to people who have betrayed or abandoned parts of themselves. But that triggering can also be an activation. And I feel like that's the realization that you've been slowly coming into. When it comes to this one specific person, I actually feel that, again, it's almost like their higher self, their soul has, in a way, been cheering you on this entire time. And I'm getting that you've almost sensed that internal conflict within them because you can sense that on some level, they are so proud of this version of you that you are becoming, and they admire that about you. In fact, it's what they're so drawn to about you. But then on the other hand, they have this fear as well that you are going to outgrow them or outgrow your connection with them, or that they won't have a place in that new life. Now, for some of you, I might not just be speaking to one specific like romantic connection. Maybe this applies to family members or friends or people in general in your life. But I just keep hearing that you have to take the leap anyway, because this is a leap of self-love. It's an act of devotion to yourself. And it's also you committing wholeheartedly to a timeline that you've been preparing for, I'm hearing in some cases for years or decades. And what I'm getting is that this person not only has the ability to follow you into this new timeline in a new form, in that higher version of themselves, but that actually the two of you can connect on a higher plane. So it feels like there is that potential for the two of you to experience a higher version of your connection that you've never really had access to in the past. So it's almost like there's this moment of a leap where you have to take a leap of self-love and love yourself enough to say, I choose me over this fear of disconnection from people who can't choose me. And then ironically, that choice of self-love positively transforms so many of those connections in your life because you're giving people the opportunity to see you in your entirety, and you're giving the connections in your life the opportunity to evolve, but only because you have the courage to choose yourself first. And if this has been the path that you are walking, then I really would recommend trying out a subliminal that I created to support you on this specific pathway that you are on. And the subliminal that I would most recommend for you is highest vibrational timeline, because the sense that I get is you truly are tapping into the highest vibrational timeline that you have ever had access to. And it is a more rare timeline than most people ever access in their entire lifetime. You could only get here because you trusted your timing over the artificial time programs that other people may have set for you. And so in order to stay aligned with this timeline, it's so important that you stay connected with that intuition within yourself. And that is why this subliminal would be so beneficial for you, because I created it to work with your subconscious mind to help you keep in that energy state of feeling clear and inspired and wide open and connected to your own intuition beneath all of the external noise. So this comes from my Subliminals app, Sound and Soulful, and you can get the app by clicking the link in the pinned comment or description box underneath this video if that's something that you're interested in. So I know that we didn't really pull cards in this reading, besides I think the third eye chakra card came out at the beginning, but I really am feeling guided to pull a Rumi oracle message to close out this reading. So while I'm shuffling, I just want to say thank you for being here. And if you are part of this collective and you'd like to stay connected here as we really walk with each other on this pathway, this beautiful, amazing, unfolding pathway into our highest timelines ever, then I would invite you to subscribe to the channel. I would love to have you here as part of our soul tribe on YouTube. So the card that wants to come out is the human gift. Do you berate yourself, blazing angel, because you have moments where you cannot trust in love more than you believe in your fear? Rise now from your doubts and admonishments and let your human self be loved. Even with all the doubt, you are a cherished one of the great beloved and always shall be. Be kind to your heart. So that feels like a perfect message to close today's reading. I am sending you all huge amounts of love and light energy. And as always, I will connect with you here again in the next video.